Our next guest is joining me on the phone. Jeannie O'Malley is the CEO of a company called Drug Free Solution Incorporated, stock symbols DMAX. Jeannie, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Don. Thanks for having me.
Well, Jeannie, we're very excited to be initiating coverage of your company. Why don't you tell us exactly what the company does?
The company provides a solution for heroin and opiate addiction. Firstly, a detox program, 3 days, that is delivered through an iApp or online program. And secondly, a 9-month program, which is more of a rebuild emotional wellness program that helps counties rebuild after the aftermath of addiction.
Well, now, Jeannie, of course, the news has just been ablaze here for the last several days with the tragic death of the actor Phillip Seymour Hoffman. But I understand during a conversation you and I had before going on the air that your team actually tried to reach out to his people some time ago. Why don't you tell us that story?
Yes, we actually reached out to his team in July last year. And, I'm sure many people were trying to help him at that time. I'm sure that there were many people attempting to get a hold of him to help him. We did reach out to him in July, and the lady that did email them actually said in the email, we're begging you to let us help him. And unfortunately, we were never able to make contact with him. So it was just devastating for us to be able to, what happened was devastating. And just to know that his family and his children and the pain that they would be suffering through this is just terrible for them, and so our hearts go out to them. But always a tragedy when you step forward to help bring some form of solution and are not able to make that happen.
Well, I remember that you once told me that a large percentage of people who become addicted to heroin actually began with prescription medication. Can you share that with us?
Well, through our study, we ran a 3.5-year study in the last 3.5 years on heroin addiction, because it was our heroin incubator in California that allowed us to develop the product to the level that we've been able to develop it to. And during the process of helping the individuals that we did a survey with them on how they became addicted, and 87% started on opiates through a prescription from a doctor. And it's a common story. It's a common story everywhere you go. I think the thing that's confusing with this epidemic that we're in right now with addiction is that we're not, as a society, dealing with the evolution of addiction. We're not dealing with how heroin has evolved from the 1960s and the 1970s. We're dealing with a marketing of a drug, which is opiates, to society that has gotten people addicted through pain, through their need to medicate themselves through some type of physical pain, that goes to a street drug. And so that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with industry that has marketed a solution that has created addiction, that has gone to the streets, that puts people in the system, and when they're in the system, they have to go back to pharmaceuticals to get off them, which they don't get off. I mean, Seroquel is a billion-dollar industry. It used to be used for bipolar and schizophrenia, and now they use it for heroin addicts. And it doesn't work. It doesn't do anything except medicate them into the need to use more heroin. And so it's just this cycle of this need to be medicated. And I think that's what we're really breaking through as people. We're breaking through the need to medicate our feelings and not be clear about who we are, and to find the strength to be able to stand up. Because heroin addiction, through our studies, heroin addiction and opiate addiction is a way of becoming invisible. It's a way of slowing down your ability to create. And a lot of people that are creative geniuses use heroin. We're perceived into the idea that they use it because they are so creative. They use it to slow down the engine, because when you take heroin, it affects that aspect of the brain, the part that would create, the part that would turn pain into wisdom, the part that can heal brokenness, the part that can support innovation. That's what it shuts down. So when people come out of it, and they come out of the fog of it, they're profound individuals. I've never met a heroin addict or an opiate addict that we haven't helped that is not really a truly amazing person. And so these people are highly intelligent, articulate, creative people that gets stuck in this. And then there's the 12 to 18% that is your true blue heroin addict that would have been a heroin addict if they were born in 1960, 1970, 1980, because it's how they're wired, and their circumstances of their childhood and their circumstances of their life will lead them into wanting to become invisible as individuals. What we're facing now is a wipeout of a whole generation that was marketed to use a drug that creates them to perceive life as a heroin addict through their feelings and what they need to feel in life.
Well, Jeannie, I know that we're going to have a much longer interview with you very soon. Again, we're initiating coverage of your company, Drug Free Solution Incorporated. DMAX is the stock symbol. Fabulous story, Jeannie. Thank you so much for sharing it with us, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thanks so much, Don.
Take care.
You too.